Hello and welcome to the KB Michelle Green podcast. Here is a place where we talk about a little bit of everything. Make sure that you subscribe, like, share, tell a friend, and listen in. Thank you and enjoy. In today's podcast, I would like to talk about how we interpret rest. Most of the time, we interpret that we need to settle down a little bit. We need to kind of like slow down, go take a vacation, especially being that we're in a season where it's sort of laid back. The kids are out of school and, it's warm, it's beautiful outside, the trees are in full bloom, the flowers are in full bloom, we got the fruits and the vegetables and all of the wonderful things that comes with spring leading into summer. And during this season, we tend to really get laid back. We kind of like begin to relax or want to spend more time doing pretty much nothing. Sometimes we have the interpretation that doing nothing still means doing something for some of us. But for me, I definitely think that resting means just being able to sleep, being able to eat and poop or whatever needs to be done, to a very minimal time for myself. So that means like if I go on vacation, I'm not really interested in going a lot of places and doing a lot of things. I'm not saying that I want to stay in a hotel or in a house that we may be in, and traveling Airbnb or whatever. I'm not saying I want to stay in the house all day, but what I am saying is that resting, what does it look like for you? Resting, does it mean that you're taking everything off your plate? Does it mean that you are removing people from your phone? Does it mean that you're removing yourself from social media? Does it mean that you are like isolating yourself where no one has any access to you whatsoever? What does rest look like for you? That's something that we really don't take time, I think, to really settle down and think about. We look at life as, okay, we're going to work hard, we play hard, but really simply just taking time to rest is not the same interpretation for everyone. So I wanted to share my perspective of something that one of I consider mentors shared with me, and it may change or shift the way you look at rest. What he said to me was that when you think of rest, you think of celebrating. It's similar to God in the creation of the first 6 days of creation. And then on the seventh day, he rested. But the rest also included a celebration of all the things that he did previously, a celebration of every achievement on every single day. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. And he rested. He rested with a mindset of gratitude. He rested with a mindset of appreciation. He rested with a mindset of, hey, I did this and this was good. And he actually said that every single day. But he really had a big celebration by just looking back and seeing what everything was like over the last 6 days. On that seventh day, he celebrated. So I think that for me, going forward, I have to define what it is that I want to celebrate. Here recently, we graduated a group of undergraduate students from our business school. And I made a post about myself about celebrating, whereas normally I just move from one work that I've completed to another work that I need to complete. And there is not really a break in between. Now, I will say that I have pretty much disciplined my life to where I do have downtime every single day. But to have like a full weekend or a full week even of just celebrating or just resting, allowing my mind to not think the same things that it was thinking, just regrouping and settling down into looking at what I have achieved. That is something that God told me to do for the graduation celebration, and rest. So I was originally thinking like, oh, well, these students have graduated. This gives me an opportunity to work in my other businesses, the credit repair, a little bit more, and kind of set a new vision for that. And then looking at my nonprofit organization with Kingdom Builders Community Development Center, where we go around and we speak, but we also help people that are less fortunate and can't afford the other services that we provide to help them to obtain a better lifestyle in the community, in the city, the state, the nation, and even in the world. And I was thinking like, okay, well, I can do more. I'll have time to just go out and be able to be even more known in my community and be able to give and do more. I thought that, maybe I can put on some more appointments on my calendar, and I can shift some things around to where I'm working maybe 4 or 5 people per day, or I'm actually, working on the days that I normally would have off during the semester courses, which we do offer twice a year. But then I was thinking, in my prayer time, God just showed me like, you need to rest. That's why it's called summer break, because there is a time for you to just settle down and celebrate and be grateful and just be calm and at peace with what has been already done. And in those moments, what I'm realizing is that the creativity that God gives me to be able to do even greater things than I did before happens during this rest and celebration. It's really just a posture, in my opinion, of gratitude. It's a posture of realizing that even when God sent his son to the earth, he did this as a celebratory act. Can you think of like someone that owns everything, that has no need in the world, that he would actually celebrate a people that he created, a world that he created by sending his only begotten son, and just allowing that to settle in as like major achievement, a major accomplishment, but that even God himself celebrated himself. He celebrated his son. He celebrated that he loved the world so much, and that he would allow his son to be given to us. Like, to me, that is way beyond my comprehension of why he would do something like that. But to me, it is all a matter of the rest. Things that I couldn't see when I was working consistently, when I was doing over and beyond and just going at it really hard. And that's not to say that, we don't need to have like proper management of our work ethic, because we certainly do. So I'm not saying that I'm just taking off for the whole summer, but I am saying that we need to really slow down enough that when we are resting our bodies, that we're also resting our mind, we're resting our spirit, and we're allowing the celebration of life to take place in the time of rest, in the time of resting, that we allow the love and the abundance of God to overtake us, to overpower our lives with a life that does not include scarcity, that does not include, thinking in a negative way or having types of issues in our body that we can't even get to a point of just relaxation physically. Like, we need to find and write down and apply things in our lives that would allow us to rest properly. Even after a workout, rest. Celebrate what you've done. After you have gone to school, and maybe you aren't finished yet, but you are still working through, maybe you achieved writing a paper. Celebrate. That's mental education. There is a time for rest. There might be where you have decided that you wanted to get closer to God and you wanted to just sit down and read the Word of God and just maybe put on some worship music and praise and glorify His name, then that is also a point of rest. In that is a point of rest and celebration. So I just want us to think outside of the box of not just in our relationships, like our birthdays and our holidays and our graduations, but to also think about celebrating in the rest, in the day-to-day walk of our life. Even if we're not taking a vacation this year, even if things are like in an uproar, it doesn't mean that we have to live that way all the time. It doesn't mean that we cannot slow down long enough to actually celebrate who we are and what we have achieved spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, relationally, even with the things that we own, our territories of our spaces, our territories of our vehicles, the material things. Yes, we can celebrate that. We can celebrate in them and with them. So let's just take a step back, and let's just take that step back and think about, how do we interpret rest? And can we actually get to a place where we rest and we celebrate who we are? I know I did, and I'm still doing it. And it is thebomb.com, okay? All right. So just something to think about. Will you get your rest today? Thank you.